The police in Kumasi have arrested the organizer of Delta Force, a vigilante group that attacked the regional security coordinator for the Ashanti region, liaison officer. And the police say they picked up Kwejo Bamba, a 37-year-old auto mechanic in Kumasi, and is assisting them currently with investigations. A statement from the Ashanti Region Ghana Police Directorate said other members of the group, the Delta Force, who carried out the attack, have since been identified and are being sought out to assist with investigations. Some 200 members of the governing New Patriotic Party affiliated group on Friday attacked the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, George J, in the attempt to drive him out of his office. They manhandled and pushed the security coordinator until police personnel rescued him in the process. Members of the vigilante group want their favorite, a man identified only as Mohammed, to get the job of the regional security coordinator. In a release signed by Inspector Godwin Ahianyo of the Public Affairs Unit of the Ghana Police in the Ashanti region, the statement said the public needs to furnish the command with necessary information that will lead to the arrest of those who took the law into their own hands. And will still remain in the region, as management of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is proposing expanding the existing maternity block as an interim measure to release space for patients. The proposal entails enforcing the wings of the current maternity block to enable engineers build more blocks on it as an expansion to contain the current congestion. Mothers and babies are dying there due to the lack of space for health personnel to operate effectively and also to reduce infection rates and in the process save lives. This was captured in Sir Kwame Boateng's documentary, Next to Die. An imposing maternity block abandoned for over 40 years will cost some $70 million to complete. However, management is proposing raising about $2 million through the multimedia group to expand the existing maternity block to soak the pressure temporarily. Well, this came to light when the management of the multimedia group paid a working visit to the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. We bring you a story by Erastus Asaridonko.
The Multimedia Group Limited started the campaign to highlight the plight of mothers and babies delivered at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. The project, which birthed the media giant's maiden program, Special Assignment, seeks to put a spotlight on an abandoned 1,000-bed maternity project and how to create space to reduce maternal and baby deaths at the hospital. The Chief Operating Officer for Multimedia Group Limited, Echikwam, Chief Finance Officer Ransford Eshon, Manager Multimedia Group Kumasi, Jim Agla, and his marketing manager Isaac Entry sought to know from Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital what immediate solutions could be provided to ease congestion at the maternity block. The Komfo-Anokye management, through Consultant Architectural and Engineering Services Limited, AESL, presented a plan to expand the existing maternity block at a cost of $2 million within 18 months.
So anywhere where there's white at the existing situation, then the green part is the additions that we are adding. This is from one side of the block, and this is to the other side.
But Chief Operating Officer for Multimedia, Echikwam, noted the plan was too extensive for a temporal measure and should be revised.
Everything must be about stopping the deaths or reducing them to the barest minimum. Right now, what I've seen is like we are expanding the hospital, which is fine, it must be done. But I don't think we will get the support from the public if we don't just immediately focus on how long is it going to take to do a project like this.
Other Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital management members offered suggestions on the way forward.
So the bottom line is to get the space completed. And that's my take, that we continue to hammer these things so that people get to know the reality and the seriousness of the matter.
So again, it should be clear that to improve quality of life for both patients and those working, because it's a teaching hospital. And that is good to get the expansion because, again, sometimes we teach medical students and nursing students. So the picture is bigger. But
I think probably we should start looking at balancing these things and see how best we can move forward. Otherwise, we'll be spending quite a bit of money into one area, which is temporary, and then the main thing is still there. In 2 years' time, we are back to square one. We haven't solved anything.
The meeting ended on the note that the temporal plan should be revised for multimedia to engage stakeholders on a fundraising venture.
The consultants and the management are going to meet, and then after they have met and fine-tuned the project to meet what we expect them to do, we will reconvene, or they will talk to us and they will come back, and then we can then call on the general public to support in that regard.
So, reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Love FM, Kumasi.
In other news, the Minister of Planning, Professor George Bafo-Jan, Professor George Jan Bafo has, on behalf of government, presented 5,000 Ghana cedis to each of the bereaved families of the KINTAMPO WATERFALL tragedy for funeral purposes. This fulfills an earlier promise by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, after he also donated some 2,000 Ghana cedis each to the families. Nesta Kafui Ajoma sent the following report from Wenchi.
Professor Jan Bafo went with Wenchi constituency executives of the New Patriotic Party to console the bereaved families of the KINTAMPO WATERFALL tragedy. At a meeting with the students of Wenchi Methodist Senior High School, Professor Jan Bafo encouraged the students to remain calm and focus on their studies.
My advice is this: do not be afraid. As stated by one U.S. president, fear is fear itself. The school has not been cursed as it is being alleged. Don't let that fear make you afraid. There is no merit in the allegation. All what is happening here is an act of God. I will therefore urge all men of God in Wenchi to assemble here to pray for you. The headmaster and staff, don't feel too guilty. And don't be too hard on yourselves, lest you cannot do your jobs properly.
Professor Jan Bafo, who is also the MP for Wenchi, visited some of the injured victims who are still receiving treatment at the Wenchi Methodist Hospital. The planning minister urged authorities at the hospital to do their best in treating the injured. He pledged to settle all medical bills of the victims on behalf of Ghana government. Nesta Kafui Ajoma's report for Joy News.
The Kaya Association of Old Fadama is calling on government to expand healthcare and housing facilities in their community. Speaking at a press conference, the leader of the association, Ladi Sule, lamented the facilities were in a very deplorable state that needed immediate attention.
Across the country were among beneficiaries of the tax reliefs announced in the 2017 budget by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. The headquarters, predominantly made of young women, however, say there are other pressing issues negatively affecting their welfare. Speaking to Joy News after the press conference, the leader of the Old Fadama Kayaye community, Ladi Sule, said access to healthcare, education and shelter top the list and therefore want government to assist in providing these amenities.
We live
in Old Fadama. Here we don't have a daycare for our children, even though most of us are mothers. We need a daycare and a clinic. So many of us sleep outside, and even those who sleep in rooms live in very deplorable conditions. We need a shelter. These are the most important things we need now.
If you say, group, ebe oni pa be 10 15 dan ba ku mu wa hwe ehyiwe mu ni nyina ma ye problems nti e sro man penini say enka obaba be ye mmoa afasa ne monima wehu.
The group also wants government to acknowledge and support some community leaders making a difference in their lives in any way possible.
And before we end the news segment this morning, instead of waiting to secure a well-paid white-collar job and consequently adding to the teeming unemployed youth, 28-year-old Esther Bill quit a job as a cashier at a microfinance company and decided to venture into local soap production just to eke a living. Well, 5 years down the lane, her business is booming and Esther is employing more hands to help her deliver to her growing number of customers. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Uruddin, releases the various scenes in her shop where she now produces boxes of local soap for sale, and this is interesting.
It's Monday afternoon in Tamale, and 28-year-old Esther is busy producing her local soap. At the time of our visit, her workers were not available. They had gone to spend the weekend with their families. Esther had already delivered most of her locally produced soaps to customers. But Mark Combien is here to help Esther sort out her products for delivery.
It was not really easy. Even now that the business is out there, the challenge is much now. Customers are on us. We don't produce our things now. We just produce and they pick. We produce and they pick. But the first challenge was the capital. I built this place myself using the profits I get from the business.
Esther completed a diploma in accounting in 2011 at the Tamale Polytechnic. Her interest in soap making developed after attending an entrepreneurship workshop. She started with 100 pieces, which she later sold to family members and friends. She's now expanding her production with the hope to serve a bigger market.
I really started in my kitchen veranda. And now where I am, I operate, the space is about more than 4 rooms. And I used to produce like 50, 100, and now we are producing in tons. Like we can do 5 tons a day. In a week, we can get like 6 or 7 tons.
For her, it would cost her so much to leave the business.
20,000 work, like capital for the work. But the other investment outside, the business can say that we have about 200 in wealth cash invested. We don't have permanent workers. Our current workers are about 7. But the rest are casual workers. And sometimes we can get about 20 casual workers when we have much work. The message I have for my colleagues out there is that you should just try to do something for yourself. Don't sit there and wait for the government to come and give you a job. This job I'm into, even if the government comes to give me a bigger car, I won't go. Because I'm much satisfied here. And I would like them to be creative. Just think of something. The businesses are all over. And to start a business is problem solving. When you want to start a business, look for something that can solve a problem. Don't just get up and do something because other people are doing.
Esther's entrepreneurship drive was propelled by her grandmother, who used to also process moringa seed into oil as well as the leaves for medicinal purposes. Mohammed Nuruddin's reports for Joy News.
And we wish Ms. Bailey a lot more success in what she does. Well, that'll be it for the news tidbit.